Hey, I'm Tristan McGowan, founder of Fifth Element, a marketing agency that I got over 7 figures by the time I turned 22. Today, I'm gonna walk you through how to cut through all the noise and just grow your agency faster. There's a lot of BS tasks and work that you're gonna be doing when you're trying to grow your agency, and a lot of things are just holding you back. So I'll give you actual, tactical, real things you can do to buy your time back and grow your business a lot faster.
Personally sort through the little things versus what's priority in your head and what needs to be done in your head throughout your day?
That's something that's taken me all 5 years to learn, and I think I will forever be learning this. I don't think this is like a black or white thing. I think this is something that I will continue to get better at over time, and I don't think there's a point in which you've mastered this. I think you can just continue to get good at it. I think there's a point where you get so good at it that it might feel like you mastered it. I wouldn't say I'm there yet, but I would say I'm significantly better than when I first started Fifth Element. I would also say that I've gone a whole year before at not doing things that are high leverage opportunities or tasks that actually project Fifth Element forward, and have had full 8-hour days, 12-hour days that all I've done was answer emails. So I've definitely been on both sides of this. Recently though, what I'm actually doing, Kevin O'Leary has this clip where he says that as a CEO or a founder, your goal should really just be to get 3 things done a day, and that's it. So what I've been doing is thinking of my 1, 2, or 3 things coming in, and this is a framing thing. I don't think this is like, yes, it's a tactical thing that actually impacts the amount of work you do and your outcomes directly impact the company, but the tool, I think, is a framing thing. It's 100% how you're coming in the day. If you just do your tasks out of order and you still get to those 3 things, you might do those 3 things differently because you first came in and read a bunch of negative news or things that you have to do that just bog your mind down. And then you just get caught up putting out fires all day. What I've been doing is I've been mentally coming in with my rocks for the week, and I do this with our leadership team as well. Each one of us has 3 to 4 rocks per week. If you have more than that, they're probably not big enough. If you have less than that, maybe they're too big. It just kind of depends. It also depends on how late you're willing to stay up. I am willing to work all day and only sleep 4 or 5 hours in a night. Other people aren't willing to do that. But it's very challenging, right? And I know this is a long-winded answer because when I come into the office, there's often like mini fires that need my attention, and it's difficult. I think I have a filtering kind of like quadrant in my brain, and you can help filter scenarios, messages, events by like urgency level and reply time almost. And things can be non-urgent and don't need an instant reply down here. They could be urgent, but they don't need an instant reply. They're just urgent, you have to get to later. Or they could be not urgent, but they need an instant reply. Or it could be very urgent and it needs an instant reply. In that like quadrant up here in this top right corner is what you should be thinking of when you're working on these big projects. Those are the only things that really should be pulling you away from getting out of the deep work that you're doing. The other kind of like actual tactical thing you do is just you need a time block on your calendar. If you have 20-minute meetings that are all 30, 40, hour and a half minutes apart, you'll never get productive. You have to be really selfish, be kind of rude, whether it's to your team, to your partners, your clients, and force them into a time block. It's really hard to like dictate your own calendar when you work with clients, partners, corporate teams, people under you, all that stuff. You have to kind of act like the center of the world. And if someone says, are you available? You just, sorry, I'm not, but I am available this time, and open up other time blocks meant for those kinds of meetings. But you have to be selfish. That's my thing is I'm getting pulled away from meetings. That's my thing. That's why I do a lot of my deep work at night, like when people are usually going to sleep. That's when I do it, and then I'm fighting being tired. But when you're in those modes of doing the deep work, think of those quadrants and know that it's okay that your company's not going to burn down if you don't get back to this message in 3 hours. Like you can answer this 4 hours later and you're going to be okay. But you'll have a mental gauge of this is a brand new client, or this is a huge partner, or this is an urgent thing that has to get answered, and keep that like quadrant up here open in your mind. So when you're doing the deep work, maybe you're filtering your notifications so only get notifications from those people or whatever it may be. That's also what you can sort your emails too, by the way. You can create those 4 folders in your inbox and have an assistant or an AI sort them out that way. That's what I'm kind of working towards right now as well. But let me get real here for a second, get kind of raw. When you're starting your agency, you don't even have targets. Like, you don't even know what you want to do. You just want to make money. Like, everyone's like, make a business plan. And fantastic guys like Bet David are online. And it's like, you have to have a business plan. You have to, yeah, you do. You don't even know how to write one. You don't even know what you just want to make money in the beginning. That's how I started. So you don't know if your target should be like 10K a month or 10K a year or a million this year, a million a month, whatever it is. Pick whatever target it is in the beginning, and then you'll start getting traction towards that target. You'll get a better perspective of like at what rate you could probably grow. Constantly set your target like 10%, 20% out of reach. Be ultra committed to your target and flexible in your approach. That's how you get there. And when it comes to making decisions on tasks or conversations or events, think of those tasks through one simple filter. Does this get me closer to my target? Yes or no? If it's a yes, do it immediately. Stay up all night. Stop feeling bad for doing the work. You should never feel bad for putting in extra work. If it's a no, but it's important, it just doesn't need an instant reply or something like that, set a time during the day where you get to those things. We built Fifth Element by having amazing customer service in the beginning days and always replying. So I'm not going to say that you should time block your whole day and work from home in your sweatpants and not answer any of your clients till like 3 p.m. Because maybe you can build some amazing automations and build the crap out of your company, but you're going to fall behind on other important things too. So it's a fine balance. But when it comes to decision making and cutting through the noise, it's just one filter. Have your targets or your goals or ambitions. Does this get me closer or farther? If you think it gets you closer, the only other thing to then look at in the filter is, does this get me this much closer or this much closer? And prioritize the big leaps. But a lot of business is doing the small things that don't even feel like leaps at all. They feel like baby steps or no steps. A lot of things you're just going to feel like you're stepping sideways. You're learning lessons, you're building the infrastructure of your company, you're training employees better. All these things don't really feel like you're getting closer to your target. In reality, you are. You're learning a lot of things without even realizing it in the moment. So I would just have like a very high pass filter, which is this getting me closer to my target or not? And then there's those tactical things you could use with your calendar, your inbox, your calls, your meetings and stuff like that. And just stay ultra committed to your goal and be flexible in the approach. If you have to get up at 3 a.m. do the work, do it. If you have to stay up till 3 a.m., do it. If you need to take a break in the middle of the day and go for a walk, like there's none of this, like none of that stuff matters. Doesn't matter what you wear, what you're eating. It impacts it, but it doesn't matter that much. You just roll out of bed and do the work.
How are you empowering leaders, or people, or employees to now kind of pass that on, pass that responsibility, so that you can focus on those big things?
A lot of it comes down to expectations versus outcomes versus your acceptance of those outcomes. There's a lot of things you could learn of like exactly how to delegate and how to structure project management and things like that. But it really comes down to like how you hold that relationship with those people that are now taking on those responsibilities. And the way I personally look at it is that everything I've been able to do at Fifth Element was self-taught, and I learned it all by myself. Doesn't mean I didn't have resources and help, but I learned it through YouTube, through asking AI, through reaching out to people, whatever it may be. And I genuinely believe that I'm a normal person and not some like super genius. So my confidence in the people that work here is higher because I know that if I was able to figure it out, you can too. And you should be able to do it even faster because I'm here to help, or because I can at least point you in the right areas and right directions, or make resources for you and things like that. But it's a couple years ago when I first started hiring my first few people, I had a bunch of our clients that are really successful entrepreneurs all tell me that the hardest part of growing a business is transitioning from working in the business to working on it. And there's all kinds of reasons why, but a lot of it comes down to trust. And like what I just started doing was, even if I didn't necessarily trust this person all the way, I created artificial trust because I knew that even if they're going to mess it up, they have to, because they have to learn. And the faster that they can fail, the better they're going to serve the company and help us grow Fifth Element. So I would put that trust in them, give them the resources, let them fail. And it stings and it hurts sometimes. But But that's the whole acceptance of their outcomes. And you have to take that into account and have like common sense. If this is the first time you've held them to this expectation, they're probably not going to have a great outcome. Over time, your expectations can rise and your level of acceptance in errors can decrease. And that's going to kind of change how you feel about everything. You'll be giving them different sets of tasks. But I personally feel like I hold our team to a high expectation, not as high as I'd like to at times, because if they're a little bit newer to that role, it helps me balance the outcomes and acceptance a little bit better. You know, these are like slide scales, your expectations and outcomes and acceptance and all that. But you need to expect high, you need to think highly of the people that work for you, even if you don't think they fully know how to do what you're asking them to do. Expect high standards, let them fail or let them win, and accept the outcome immediately. And the faster we can fail, the better we're going to do. But it was really painful for me to like let go of a lot of things. And what I ended up learning and accepting was that the more I hold on to things, the more these people aren't learning. And it got so painful that I couldn't do all the work that I finally let go. And I started letting go really quick of things. And now I'm paying, you start paying the dumb tax and you realize you should have let go a lot sooner, because now you're feeding them from a fire hose when they could have like baby birded all these new responsibilities and tasks. Now they're going to fail really hard. And I had to go through this huge, like building up my work, dumping my work off to people, letting them take it, letting them fail. And now we're all in this like little valley. And now we're climbing up back together. And now I know it's very important to give them responsibilities and expect highly from them on day one. There's so many different reasons why they're going to work better and faster and stronger for you. People want responsibility and they want to feel like they're actually part of the team and they're actually moving the business forward. If you just leave them in like small tasks and small scenarios all the time, it's going to burn them out and they'll quit eventually. I think the more expectations and responsibilities you can give someone, in my experience, they often come back even stronger. It just takes a little bit of time, but I don't know. I think the nugget of gold in there that I said was I didn't have trust and I just created artificial trust and just said, I'm going to let them do it. Even if some stuff crashes and burns, I have to. I have to now. I'm forced to. And you just need to trust that we're all here for the mission. Trust your gut. And if they start making decisions that don't benefit you, a lot of things in business you think are permanent. A lot of stuff is not permanent. Someone you hired, even if you love them to death, you could fire them on any day. A new software you got in, a new CRM, it could be extremely painful. You could change overnight. It would suck. But a lot of these things you can change. So if you give someone all this responsibility and you create that trust and you feel like you gave them a really fair shot and it's not panning out, change the responsibilities, give it to someone else. These things, like you're not cemented into these decisions. You just create these like boxes in your mind that you live in. And I've done that for years now. And now I'm finally realizing like prioritize the mission, protect the culture, and you'll get there. If you're not getting there, it's because you're not prioritizing the mission, which helps you filter through high leverage tasks and giving responsibilities to the right people, and all these things come from prioritizing the mission, putting the mission above any single person on the entire team, and then protecting the culture. Don't let people be, I don't know, having sour attitudes and be pessimists inside your office and tanking other people's vibes. It's true. That's what I feel like I've learned. But you just you have to give the trust and you gotta trust yourself that you picked the right employee and all these things. That you just gotta ready, fire, aim, and like trial by fire. You have to. It's just scary in the beginning because the company's so fragile, you know, and the company's so small. But really think about it. Like, what's the worst thing that could happen if I give this person responsibility? Are they going to email every client I've ever had and say horrible things and like destroy the company overnight? Probably not. Am I going to lose my business because this person didn't run ads good for this one client? Probably not. Is losing this one client going to tank my entire reputation and client? Probably not. You're underestimating the upside of having more bandwidth and more employees, and significantly overestimating the risk of giving the responsibility to this person when in reality they can really push you forward. Putting people in charge of things should be moving you forward. It should be a good thing. You should be celebrating that you have more people taking on these responsibilities and moving you forward, and you're stuck on the negative of they're going to mess up a few times. And it's like, make better SOPs then. Make better systems.